What are dark secrets about the porn industry that people should know? A lot of the 18-year-olds in the porn industry probably were in it when they were younger too. The grooming and locking. If you've never heard of locking, it's basically when a group of girls doing porn are living together, typically, and they are pressured to spend their money by producers who claim to be their friends. The goal here is to diminish any sort of saving money thought process, and they make it out like the money will never stop coming. This keeps them broke and making doing more shoots. Great, after reading these comments I can no longer watch porn. Thanks what? Oh, I also used to drive some exotic dancers 2 or 3 cities to do regular doctor appointments. They never felt safe going local because they always get recognized and people get creepy. Not sure if that counts as porn industry, but I'd imagine the same rules apply. Many of the 18-year porn stars were recruited when they were 16 or 17. A truth people don't want to accept. That 18-year porn star that made all that buzz 2 years ago didn't get all those high production shoots before she was halfway to 19 just after she turned 18. It's not possible. Also, all those waited for her 18th birthday videos are basically admitting to grooming minors. I gotta be honest, I simply thought that all those supposed 18-year-olds weren't 18-year-olds at all and instead just young looking older girls. That is sometimes the case. Riley Reid has been playing a teenager for a decade now. But it goes both ways. Didn't Lupe Fuentes have to go to court over this once? A man was facing child porn related charges for viewing her videos purely because she's so petite and young looking that the prosecution decided she couldn't possibly be 18, and she pretty much had to fly herself out to present proof of her age to the court. Edit. Yeah, this happened. From Wikipedia. In 2009, federal agents arrested a man in Puerto Rico on suspicion of possessing child pornography that included Fuentes. At trial, a pediatrician testified that Lupe was underage based on her appearance. Lawyers for the defense subpoenaed her to show her passport, proving that she was 19 years old at the time of filming. Fuentes was born in 1987 and started in porn in 2007. That some companies like Girls Do Porn systematically coerce young women into porn. A trafficked 15-year-old was found on Pornhub. Almost 100 videos. She was verified by Pornhub while trafficked. There are so many videos on free sites that the producers are unverified. I would be willing to bet there are a lot of underage photos anywhere that allow this type of behavior. Hell, my friend claimed she had been posting nudes to GW since she was in 9th grade at the age of 14. I had to tell a friend back in HS that she showed up in a BJ compilation. She met a couple college guys that drove her around in a van getting drunk until they convinced her to blow them all. Somewhere in there they decided to record a drunk 15-year-old going down on them. She never pressed charges. And I only saw it because my GF at the time and her friend thought it would be funny to look up porn videos, so I had no idea where they even found it. Funny enough, the guys that ran Girls Do Porn also ran Mompov, similar site but for older women. They had one of the women from Mompov as a defense witness who said you had to be a fucking idiot to not realize it was a porn contract and that it was going all over the internet. That said, getting the girls drunk and holding them in the hotel room until they signed the contract was definitely criminal, and it was definitely the thing that got them shut down. Hot Girls Wanted, produced by Rashida Jones, explores most of the seedy practices discussed in here. James Dean, the famous porn star who made a killing by looking like an authentic, genuine dude, is a rapist according to several co-stars and his ex-girlfriend Stoya. But the porn industry didn't get a Me Too movement, so he's still in porn and Stoya isn't. And it wasn't even a fucking secret. Edit. Apparently she's still doing porn, just on her own platform at zeraspaces.com. Edit. 2 ex-girlfriends. The whole tons of Viagra thing is absolutely true, and so is the bit about casting directors playing fast and loose with STDs. I have a friend that once turned down a shoot for a gay porn at a campground because none of the actors were required to be tested beforehand. A few of them ended up contracting HIV from that shoot. Amateur homemade 18yo vids are likely not 18. The industry gives no shits about protecting minors. If it were legal, they'd go as low as they could. See Japan, Color Climax, Tracy Lords. Tracy Lords' case is especially despicable due to all the hate she received when it came out she was 16 in her vids and 14 in her pinups, as well as the fact that in 1987 they made a porn film about her sexual exploitation. Pornhub specifically makes it especially difficult to get minors taken down from the site even if you report multiple times. Several famous minors are actually recommended search terms. Not really the industry, but whenever there's a high-profile rape in the news, the victim's name becomes a popular search terms on all sites. They recruit young women and teens from troubled homes or rebelling against their parents. They lure them in with money and the ability to live free and do what they want. All they have to do is some amateur porn. Once away from friends and family, they are put in a house with other young women in the industry and given a room. They bond and go to shoots or whatever. They get paid a lot and they love it. Some get hooked on drugs. Almost all have bad experiences. The person who owns the house they live in takes a cut of everything. It's all a bunch of teen girls, so it's not a very clean place. The turnover rate is astounding as well. It's a miracle essentially if you last longer than 4 months without a mental breakdown or going home and never returning. Edit. Not all girls, guys, people who go into porn, amateur or otherwise, come from bad homes. Though 40% of porn actresses report being molested as children. It's not indicative of the industry or the people employed within. Some girls are tricked into filming the video. They're promised to do some modeling, and when they arrive they find out that it's more than just a few pictures. Porn is a big human trafficking industry. Nowhere near as rampant and dangerous as child trafficking, but it's still very active. Came to comment from personal experience. I'm not in the adult entertainment industry, but I booked a boudoir photo shoot a few years back to surprise my boyfriend, and I booked with this amazing photographer. I was raped during the photo shoot. A video recorder was on the entire time. That of course captured everything, and the video went to the black market. The photographer was actually deep into sex trafficking, but these traffic rings stay 100 steps ahead at all times. That the police investigation became cold very fast. A lot of the time child pornography slips through the cracks. More often than not, those girls that look 14-16 are actually within that age range, but nobody questions it because age checks don't happen often. So next time you're spanking your bacon to some petite flat-chested teen barely legal shit, think twice before you nut. That may be a child. The financial structures of the business are remarkable. The amount of money flowing through the industry is huge beyond comprehension, but in the end it ends up in just a few pockets. Companies behind large tube sites are earning the bulk of the money, taking revenue from advertisements, memberships, and producing studios who pay tube sites so said tube sites feature their films on the homepage. In the meanwhile, those producers suffer heavily from the terabytes of pirated content which is uploaded daily. Tube sites often refuse to take responsibility for illegal content, said pirated content, but also child porn, human trafficking, rape, etc., news stating that they are only a platform and that they cannot be held accountable for what individual users upload. Lately there was quite some uproar about the girls do porn videos. A number of girls appearing in those videos stated that they were drugged and then forced to do things that they would have never agreed on. While this case was in court, some tube sites refused to take those videos offline while users still uploaded those. Nowadays, it's very similar to a studio-style 9-5 job. Nobody is really making a lot of money anymore. I've been in and out of it for about 25 years. It's morphed into this industry where smarter people use pornography to build a brand. The people that were popular 25 years ago wouldn't get far today because they were primarily interested in getting paid upfront for shooting scenes. If I'm going to do this, I want $300, those types. So, those people could go out and get paid $600 per film, which was great money back in 2001. Many people busted their asses to make as much content as they could, but there was no residual income after that. So that's why in the late 90s and early 2000s, there were simply so many films. Now, the women are tracking their income on the back end with things like Snapchat and OnlyFans. It's not a cleaner industry by any means. The porn industry is very toxic and the actors are treated very badly. I remember watching some documentary or something of the sort about porn fans from the UK going off to America to meet their favorite stars or something. A segment of the show was about porn stars meeting fans and shagging them, and the girls were beginning to look really ragged by the third guy or group or of guys I can't remember. Anyhow, after the fans are done with, the director, producer, production staff who've been sitting there all day filming all of it drop their pants and exercise their owners' rights and start plowing into the girls, who by this time were well and truly spent. I don't know how much of this is true, or if it's sensationalized, but I remember thinking to myself how monstrous the act idea of it is. There really isn't that much separating what the crewers were shown doing from rape, if you ask me. Those orgasms aren't real. Those sizes are not natural, and the actors usually don't last an hour, they just edit the shootings they did. Edit. Wow, my most upvoted comment is about dicks 3 times bigger than mine. Note that, as someone else has pointed out down here, another big thing, pun intended, is the camera angle. They are shot with the purpose of making the dick look bigger, so watch out with your dick pics. I don't think people realize just how many videos contain people being trafficked. Edit, because this has gained much more attention than I anticipated. I'll elaborate some, but I encourage you to research this more. Today, there is an estimated 30 million people that are being trafficked. This is modern day slavery. Children, women, and even men are bought and sold as property for the purposes of being a sex slave, forced labor, or even organ harvesting. It is so repulsive and yet so hidden and unknown. The sad thing is, many children get caught up in this after natural disasters or other tragic situations. For example, with the recent explosion in Lebanon, criminals may set up orphanages that are not registered with the state, and just like that a child can be taken. I learned much of this from a podcast episode with Timothy Owens as a guest on the Candace Owens show. Even if you aren't conservative, this is a good, objective and informative discussion to listen to. Thank you if you read this entire thing. I just felt I needed to use this opportunity to give a voice to the unheard. That if you had sex with a guy and it was uploaded to PH, then you literally have no rights to remove that video. This is a well-done thing. They're almost all prostitutes. Most people don't put 2 and 2 together, but yes, it is easier to persuade a prostitute to do a porn than it is to persuade actors and actresses to do it. I grew up in the San Fernando Valley. The industry was very tight-knit and closed off, but everyone knew people in the industry in some capacity. This also works both ways, I'd bet. If they do just go to porn from regular life, it's probably easier to then convince someone who is already having sex for money on camera to also have sex for money off camera. Of course not all porn stars will do it, but it only makes sense to me that making that jump to prostitution is going to be more common for them than it is for other people on average. Rape is common and so is coercion. Yes, I know coercion is rape. I'm trying to specify economic coercion. I've read stories of ex-porn actresses who talked about showing thinking they were doing one scene and being told they would be doing a gangbang, and if they refused, they would be fired. Many of these women are poor and struggle to make ends meet, so they are offered drugs and alcohol to get through the scene. Most scenes. I saw a Tosh Zero episode with a porn blooper and some poor girl was crying and throwing up cum while everyone around her laughed. Women are treated horribly on set. The assault and disregard for their well-being is shocking. Edit, I have been informed I did not watch the whole video. Apparently I was mistaken. Please forgive me, it was like 9 years ago? I couldn't even watch the whole video. So I did not remember correctly. Pornhub constantly has underage people on their website. Many girls, and young boys, are trafficked and porn is used to advertise them. Many girls who don't do porn suffer the consequences of their pornsick boyfriends. Some girls experience anal or vaginal tearing, or experience pressure to do dangerous things, or are just pressured to give oral all the time. All of this I learned from various sources. Just look up ex-porn stars, and also from Dr. Gail Dines, who studies the effects of porn on our culture. Popular porn sites are full of videos of child rape, and revenge porn. A lot of the time porn sites will refuse to take these videos down, even when they're pointed out to them and reported. One example of this is Rose Kalemba, who was raped when she was 14, and videos of her rape were uploaded to Pornhub, but Pornhub refused to take down the videos until Rose threatened them with legal action. The sheer amount of physical violence, sexual assault and rape the actresses, and the actors in gay porn, are put through. Multiple actresses have come out and said that they have to do exactly as the producer tells them, even if it involves something they didn't consent to, or they don't get paid. In other words, they either get raped or they don't get paid. The average life expectancy of a porn star is 37 years. Dying by suicide is disturbingly common. Edit. Apparently the 37 years is most likely false, but there are still a disturbingly large number of suicides among former and even current porn stars. Most men in gay porn are straight, they just get paid more for taking it up the bum. Edit. To all of those saying that doing gay porn makes you gay, I'll say this: doing something you don't really enjoy, but pretending you're happy is what the rest of us call a day's work. Japanese people have normal genitalia. Their junk isn't actually pixelated in real life. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to like and subscribe.